You'll wake up in the morning and the first thing you hear isn't the birds or your alarm. It's that voice inside your head reminding you of what went wrong yesterday. That voice is already trying to convince you to stay in bed, to skip today, to avoid the hard stuff. Before your feet even hit the ground, the battle has already begun. And the truth is, most people lose the fight right there before the day even starts. You don't need someone to sabotage your life. When your thoughts are doing the job, that voice will tell you you are not ready, you are not smart enough, or that your past disqualifies you. It will twist your wins into accidents and your losses into final verdicts. And if you don't learn to challenge it, you'll live your whole life under a false identity. The mind is a battlefield, and every single day is war, not a one-time war either. This is a war that renews daily. Every time you set a goal, every time you try something new, every time you dream bigger, that voice shows up with resistance. It's not just opposition from the world, it's internal opposition, and it's relentless. You can't escape this fight. You can't outgrow it. You can only train for it. Because this isn't about being positive all the time. It's about being equipped to fight back when your thoughts start pulling you down. It's about building mental muscles that can lift you out of the pit you didn't even realize you were falling into. The scariest battles are the silent ones. No one can see them. No one hears what you hear in your head, and that's why people walk around smiling while dying inside. You don't need to put on a fake face. You need to start fighting back in the unseen places, because that's where your life is being shaped. The victory you want in your career, your health, your relationships, it starts with a mindset shift. It starts by declaring that your thoughts don't run you. It starts when you stop co-signing every lie that shows up in your mind and start asking, where did that come from? It starts when you take responsibility for what lives in your head. You are not crazy for having mental battles. You are human. And being human means you will face thoughts that scare you, tempt you, discourage you, and confuse you. But it also means you have the power to choose what stays and what goes. That's the real fight. That's where the real strength is developed. The thoughts are visitors. They come and go. But some of us have allowed negative thoughts to move in, decorate the place, and start collecting mail. You start entertaining lies long enough, they stop sounding like lies. That little whisper that says you always mess things up becomes your background music. You don't even notice it's playing. The problem isn't that the thought showed up. The problem is you permitted it to stay. You built a room in your mind. You gave it a seat at your table. And now every time you try to grow, that thought pipes up with a comment like it owns the place. You have got to start evicting some things from your mental space. You don't have to believe every thought that shows up. Some thoughts need to be rejected immediately. They don't need to be analyzed, processed, or debated. They just need to be shut down. Because if you keep feeding them attention, they'll grow. What you feed grows. And if you keep feeding fear, doubt, and shame, don't be shocked when they get stronger. You are not the thoughts you think. You are the one deciding which thoughts get to stay. That's your power. You might not be able to control what pops into your head, but you can control what takes root. You can filter what stays based on what builds you up, not what breaks you down. If you want peace, you have got to stop having conversations with your insecurities. You have got to stop letting your past failures write the script for your future decisions. Stop giving the worst moments in your life the loudest voice in your mind. They don't deserve the microphone anymore. This battle is personal. You might look calm on the outside, but if your inner world is full of chaos, it's only a matter of time before it leaks into your decisions, your actions, and your relationships. You have got to start clearing out the clutter. Sweep out the thoughts that don't serve you anymore. They are taking up space that was meant for the purpose. The mind is a house, and it's your job to manage it. Set boundaries, kick out the squatters, reclaim the rooms. This is how you begin the renovation of your life. by starting with the thoughts that are trying to live rent-free in your head. Your life will never rise higher than your mindset. That's not a catchy phrase. That's a cold, hard fact. If you think small, your life will shrink to match it. If you constantly expect bad things to happen, your energy will repel every good thing trying to come your way. What's going on in your head eventually shows up in your actions, your results, and your reality, whether you realize it or not. If you keep telling yourself that you are broken, you are going to start living like someone who can't be fixed. If you keep telling yourself that no one believes in you, you'll push away the very people trying to support you. Your thoughts are painting the backdrop for your entire life. The colors you use, whether dark or light, set the tone for everything you walk into. That's why you can't afford to let fear be your default. People think circumstances shape mindset, but it's the other way around. You could put two people in the same situation. One will crumble, the other will climb. The difference isn't what happened. It's what they told themselves about what happened. One says, this is where it ends. The other says, this is where I get better. That's the battle right there. That's the turning point that separates failure from growth. When you speak defeat over your life, your brain will go out looking for evidence to back it up. You'll start noticing every little thing that confirms your worst fears. But when you decide to speak victory, even when you feel broken, your mind begins to align with what you say. It starts preparing you to rise, not stay stuck. That's why you have to be intentional with your inner dialogue. You can't let it run wild. You become what you rehearse in your mind. If you keep replaying every mistake, you'll start seeing yourself as a mistake. But if you replay how you got back up, how you kept going, how you pushed through, your confidence starts getting louder than your fear. The more you practice courage in your head, the more naturally it flows out when life hits hard. You have got to train your thoughts to see the fight, not the fall. What you feed your mind becomes your reality. If you constantly consume negativity, gossip, and hopelessness, then don't expect your life to feel like peace and purpose. But if you start feeding your mind with vision, discipline, and truth, everything around you begins to shift. It won't happen overnight, but momentum will build. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to start thinking like a builder, not a victim. This is not about toxic positivity or pretending everything's okay. It's about choosing thoughts that push you forward even when life's not okay. It's about being honest about the pain, but still choosing to speak hope. It's about refusing to let your thoughts trap you in a life that's less than what you were made for. Peace doesn't just show up on its own. You have to fight for it. It's not something you stumble into by accident. It's not something the world hands you. Peace is a decision you have to keep making, even when your circumstances don't give you a single reason to feel calm. You can't wait for everything around you to be settled before you decide to be settled inside. If you do that, you'll always be a prisoner of your environment. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how much access it has to your spirit. Every day, drama will knock on your door. Every day, somebody's attitude, some bad news, and some unexpected problems will show up. But that doesn't mean you have to let it sit in your mind and start tearing up the furniture. You have to treat peace like a priority, not an afterthought. That means guarding your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. The reason so many people feel overwhelmed isn't because life is too heavy, it's because they carry too much that doesn't belong to them. You have got to learn how to lay some things down. Every fight isn't yours. Every opinion doesn't need your response. Not every storm doesn't deserve your attention. Sometimes peace isn't found in doing more, it's found in walking away from what's been draining you. Peace of mind requires discipline. It's easy to react. It's easy to snap back. It's easy to scroll all day, compare, complain, and get caught up in everybody else's world. But it takes real strength to stay grounded, to focus on your lane, to turn down the noise and stay present. Peace isn't passive. It's an active decision you have to make over and over again. You have to stop expecting peace to come from people who bring chaos. Some of the stress in your life isn't coming from your workload. It's coming from who you keep allowing access to your thoughts. If someone keeps disturbing your spirit, you have got to ask yourself why you keep giving them that power. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life, especially if they can't sit in silence without stirring up confusion. Peace starts with what you consume. The music, the conversations, the TV, the social media, all of it is feeding your soul something. And if what you are feeding yourself is chaos, fear, and division, then don't be surprised when your inner world feels like a war zone. You have got to take inventory of what you allow into your mental space and start choosing what lifts you instead of what drains you. There will always be reasons of stress. There will always be pressure. But that doesn't mean peace is impossible. It just means it's intentional. You have to wake up and choose it before the day chooses for you. You have to build habits that protect it. You have to speak words that sustain it. You have to recognize that peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of inner control in the middle of them. Fear always comes with a megaphone. It shouts the worst case scenarios before you even take the first step. It exaggerates what could go wrong, highlights everything uncertain, and tries to paralyze you with doubt. The volume of fear doesn't mean it's telling the truth. It just means it's trying to be heard above your faith. You have got to learn how to hear it without handing it the keys. Fear will always be part of the journey. You can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Every time you level up, fear will meet you at the door like a bouncer asking for your credentials. It'll ask, who do you think you are? It'll ask, what if you fail? But just because it's asking the questions doesn't mean it gets to make the decisions. Fear talks loud, but it doesn't have the final say. Most people think the presence of fear is a sign they should stop. But in reality, fear is often a sign that you are headed in the right direction. If your dreams don't scare you a little, they are not big enough. If the next step doesn't make your stomach flip, you are probably still standing in your comfort zone. Fear is loud because it knows your potential. It knows what you are capable of. If you don't let it run the show. The key isn't to be fearless. It's to move forward while still feeling the fear. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the refusal to be controlled by it. When fear screams, courage whispers, do it anyway. When fear builds walls, courage says there's still a door. Every time you do something scary, you weaken fear's grip on your life. Every time you show up despite the anxiety, you build another brick of strength. Fear's job is to protect, but when it's in charge, it overprotects. It turns every challenge into danger. It makes you overthink, overprepare, and sometimes over-apologize for even trying. That's when you have to pause and ask, is this fear based on reality or is it based on insecurity? Most of the time, fear isn't responding to what's happening, it's reacting to what might happen. And when you live in what might happen, you miss out on what could happen. You have got to talk back to fear like it's a liar sitting in your passenger seat. You don't have to kick it out completely. You just don't let it dry. You acknowledge it, you hear it, but you still take action. Fear will always be around when you are building something meaningful, but it doesn't get a vote in your decisions unless you give it one. Fear makes noise, but it has no authority unless you hand it the mic. And you know what silences fear? Progress, action, moving forward. Fear can't keep up with motion. The more you move, the less power it holds. So take the next step, not because you are not afraid, but because you have decided fear isn't your leader. A lot of people are out here praying for breakthroughs, but they won't even commit to consistent thinking. They want God to drop a blessing out of the sky, but they won't discipline their mind to focus on what's in front of them. It's not that the miracle isn't coming. It's that your mindset can't hold it yet. You don't need more luck. You don't need someone to rescue you. You need to get your mind in order so you stop sabotaging the progress you already have. Discipline starts with the decision to stop letting your emotions control your direction. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll never see the results you are praying for. If your thoughts jump from doubt to fear to frustration every morning, your actions will follow that chaos. Mental discipline means learning how to catch yourself when you spiral and redirect that energy before it wrecks your day. You can't wait until you are in the mood to be focused. You have got to choose to be focused regardless of the mood. It's not your talent that's the problem. It's not the opportunity. It's not even the enemy. It's the lack of follow through that keeps you stuck. You get excited, you start strong, but the moment it gets boring or uncomfortable, your mind starts negotiating. Let's skip today. We can make it up tomorrow. This isn't working fast enough. And every time you agree with that inner weakness, you delay your breakthrough. Mental discipline means silencing that inner negotiator and doing what needs to be done anyway. People think success is about motivation. No, success is about mastery. It's about showing up when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's about training your mind to work through resistance, not run from it. It's about keeping promises to yourself even when it's inconvenient. Mental discipline is like a muscle. It only grows when you use it under pressure. And most people fold the moment the pressure shows up. You keep asking for a miracle, but miracles show up in the lives of people who are prepared to carry them. You want the reward of a strong life, but you are not building the habits that support it. Your miracle isn't stuck in heaven. It's stuck behind inconsistency, procrastination, excuses, and a mind that can't stay locked in on the goal. Discipline bridges the gap between what you ask for and what you receive. Mental discipline means not letting your thoughts talk you out of what you know God already told you to do. You are made to win, but your mind has to be trained to believe that. That means waking up with intention. That means feeding your mind what it needs, not what it wants. That means holding yourself accountable when nobody else is watching. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's always powerful. It's not that you're waiting on the miracle. It's that the miracle is waiting on you to get serious, to get focused, to get consistent. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you hold your ground instead of giving in, you are moving closer to that breakthrough. You don't have to beg for a new life. You have to train for it. Your mind is always listening, even when you are not speaking out loud. The thoughts you repeat, the words you whisper to yourself, the beliefs you carry around without questioning them, all of that is shaping the way you see the world and the way you see yourself. If you keep telling yourself you are not good enough, your mind will start treating that like a fact. If you constantly rehearse failure, your actions will start to follow that script without even realizing it. The most dangerous lies are the ones you tell yourself over and over again until they start sounding like the truth. I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't make it. That voice isn't coming from reality, it's coming from repetition. Your mind doesn't sort out fact from fiction. It just takes what's repeated and builds your worldview around it. That's why so many people stay stuck in cycles they don't even realize they're creating. If you want to change your life, you have got to change what you tell your mind most. That means catching yourself in the act of negative thinking and flipping the script. It means interrupting the pattern when you start to drift into doubt. You have got to stop speaking against yourself in private and expecting confidence in public. You can't insult your abilities every day and then expect to walk into a room full of courage and clarity. You don't need 100 compliments from other people. You need one strong belief coming from yourself. And the only way that belief gets strong is by feeding it daily. Affirm it, declare it, stand on it. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, say it until your mind starts adjusting. That's not fake, it's training. That's not denial, it's development. You don't wait to believe it until everything lines up perfectly. You start speaking it now, and the rest begins to catch up. The world already tries to tear you down. Don't become part of the attack. You can't afford to be your enemy in a world that already doubts your greatness. Your self-talk should be your strongest source of strength, not your deepest source of sabotage. You have got to decide that your inner voice is going to work for you, not against you. That means committing to building yourself up even when life feels like it's breaking you down. People underestimate the power of words because they don't see the damage until years later. But what you tell yourself consistently becomes your reality. If you keep speaking of defeat, you'll start walking like you have already lost. If you keep reminding yourself of your past mistakes, you'll keep repeating them. But if you train your mind to expect growth, to expect healing, to expect forward movement, your life will begin to shift in that direction. Now imagine, it's mental conditioning. The mind follows the path it hears the most. So feed it faith, Feed it strength. Feed it truth. Keep repeating what builds you. Keep reinforcing what drives you. Keep choosing to speak life over your situation, even when life feels hard. Your thoughts are seeds, and your words are water. Whatever you plant and feed daily is going to grow. When emotions hit, they don't ask for permission. They come fast, they come strong, and they don't care if you're in the middle of something important. One bad conversation, one disappointment, one moment of anger or sadness can feel like the end of everything. And in those heated moments, your mind will try to convince you to act right now. But the worst decisions are often made in the heat of temporary emotions that haven't even had time to cool off. You can't trust your feelings when they are fresh off a storm. Hurt, anger, fear, those emotions distort the truth. They shrink your perspective. They make you forget the bigger picture and zero in on the pain of the moment. That's why people walk away from relationships they should have fought for, quit jobs they were meant to grow through, or say things they wish they could take back. It's not that they are bad people. It's that they let a moment write their future. Emotions are real, but they are not always right. You can feel something intensely and still be wrong about it. You can feel abandoned when you are being redirected. You can feel defeated when you are just being stretched. That's why mental discipline is key. You have got to give yourself space to process. Without making decisions you can't undo. Let the dust settle before you speak. Let the wave pass before you act. Every emotional high and low passes, every single one. But the decisions you make while in that emotional fog might stay with you for years. That's why maturity means pressing pause when everything inside you wants to react. It means holding back that angry message, walking away from that impulsive purchase, and biting your tongue when you are tempted to explode. It's not weakness to wait, it's wisdom. It's not cowardly to breathe first. It's strength under control. People lose good things not because they were wrong, but because they acted too fast. Temporary frustration can end a dream that just needed more time. Temporary sadness can push away people who were trying to love you. Temporary anxiety can make you run from something that was part of your breakthrough. You have to become a gatekeeper for your emotions, not a prisoner to them. Your future deserves better than a permanent decision made from a temporary place. You'll always have emotions. That's part of being human. But the power lies in what you do with those emotions. Do you let them drive or do you let them pass? Do you allow them to shape your character or just crash into your peace? When you learn how to feel without reacting, when you learn how to sit with the storm without letting it steer your ship, that's when you have truly taken control of your mind. You can have all the tools, all the resources, all the connections, but if your mindset ain't right, nothing works. You'll keep finding ways to lose even when everything around you is set up for you to win. Mindset is the filter through which you see your life. Two people can face the same challenge. One sees a dead end, the other sees a lesson. One quits, the other grows. The only difference is how their mind was set before the challenge even came. Your mindset controls how you respond to failure. Some people take failure personally. They say, that's it, I'm not good enough, and they fold. Others say, all right, that didn't work, what can I learn? And they get back up. The same failure, two completely different outcomes. See, it's not about what happens, it's about what you believe about what happens. If your mind is locked on defeat, you'll always find a reason to stop. But if your mind is locked on progress, you'll find a way to push through. You can't grow a wealthy life with a poverty mindset. You can't build strong relationships with a broken mindset. You can't lead others with a defeated mindset. That's why changing your life starts with changing your mentality, not your job, not your environment, not your circle, your mentality. Because once your mind is aligned with the direction you are trying to go, everything else starts falling into place. Your energy shifts, your habits shift, your priorities shift. Doors don't open just because you knock. Sometimes they open because your mind refuses to settle. Mindset gives you the patience to wait, the grit to endure, and the faith to keep moving. You won't always have motivation. You won't always have support. But if you have made up your mind, you have got something powerful. That kind of mind doesn't fold under pressure. That kind of mind doesn't chase approval. It moves forward with purpose, whether people clap or not. A lot of people keep changing directions because they haven't changed their minds. They keep switching goals, switching careers, switching habits, but their results stay the same. Why? Because their mindset is stuck. They are still thinking small. They are still doubting. They are still expecting failure, even while praying for success. You can't unlock a new season with an old mindset. That's why the first key that needs to turn is the one inside your head. Powerful mindset speaks life when things get quiet. It speaks progress when nothing looks promising. It wakes you up when the alarm clock feels like a curse. And when setbacks come, it doesn't panic, it adjusts. A strong mindset isn't built by comfort. It's built in those moments where quitting is easier, but you stay committed anyway. And each time you push through, you prove to your mind that it can't bully you anymore. If you want to change your income, your peace, your relationships, your health, don't start with your hands, start with your head. Because your actions will never outgrow your thoughts. And once your mindset levels up, you'll start realizing that the doors that looked locked were waiting for you to think different. Your mind is your most valuable asset, but most people treat it like it's disposable. You protect your phone with a case, your home with locks, your car with insurance, but you leave your mind wide open to negativity, doubt, distractions, and nonsense. What you allow in your mind will eventually show up in your life. If someone tried to poison your food, you throw it away instantly. But if someone dumps poison in your thoughts, you let it simmer all day without even realizing the damage being done. You can't afford to entertain every conversation, scroll through every post, or digest every opinion. Your peace is too valuable. Your focus is too important. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every drama needs your reaction. Protecting your mind means drawing boundaries like your future depends on it, because it does. Every distraction you entertain is a seed being planted in your thinking. And over time, those seeds grow into confusion, fear, comparison, or hesitation. Protecting your mind means you have to be intentional about what you feed it. You don't grow strength from junk. If all you consume is chaos, gossip, fear-mongering, and noise, then don't be surprised when your mind starts working against you. Your mental diet determines your emotional health. Just like your body reacts to what you eat, your mind reacts to what you consume through your eyes and ears. Garbage in, stress out, doubt in, anxiety out. You have got to filter out anything that doesn't align with your purpose. That means limiting conversations that go nowhere. That means cutting back on the media that keeps reinforcing that you are not enough. That means stepping away from people who constantly speak negativity into your plans, your life, and your future. You can't keep letting people rent space in your mind who don't even pay you with encouragement, wisdom, or truth. Your mind ain't a landfill for other people's fears and failures. Too many people are mentally exhausted, not because they're doing too much, but because they are absorbing too much. They're carrying opinions they didn't ask for, fears that aren't theirs, arguments that aren't worth it. Your energy is leaking through all these mental side doors that should have been shut a long time ago. Protecting your mind is about learning to say no without guilt. It's about being unavailable for foolishness and fully present for your purpose. When you protect your mind, you create space for clarity. You allow God to speak without all the noise, drowning him out. You start to recognize your voice in the middle of the chaos. And when your mind is clear, your decisions get sharper. Your reactions slow down. Your strength increases. It's not that life gets easier. It's that you stop letting every little thing control you. You become steady in a world that thrives on shaking people. People don't lose the battle of life because of a lack of opportunity. They lost because their mind wasn't protected when it mattered. A single seed of doubt, planted and watered over time, can destroy a dream. A single lie, accepted without resistance, can delay destiny. That's why your peace, your mindset, your inner world, it all needs security. Protected from comparison, guarded against bitterness, defended from fear disguised as logic. Because the quality of your life will never rise higher than the condition of your mind. Healing isn't just about physical recovery, it's about mental recovery too. But you can't heal when your mind is filled with poison. When your mental environment is full of negativity, criticism, doubt, and fear, it becomes impossible to move forward. You are like a plant trying to grow in a soil that's contaminated. No matter how much light and water you get, that toxic soil will keep stunting your growth. If you want to heal, you have got to clean up your mental environment first. A toxic mental environment doesn't always look like outright negativity. It can be the constant comparison to others, the need to prove yourself, or the pressure to meet unrealistic expectations. You can't heal when your mind is constantly racing with self-judgment and the need for approval. You have to make peace with where you are and who you are, and that means filtering out anything that says you are less than enough. Healing begins when you stop trying to be something for everyone else and start being exactly who you were meant to be. The people you surround yourself with play a huge role in your mental environment. If you are constantly around negative, critical, or toxic people, their energy will leak into yours. It doesn't matter how much you try to protect your mind, their words and actions will still affect you. That's why it's crucial to distance yourself from people who drain you, belittle you, or feed into your insecurity. You have got to create space for people who support your growth, your healing, and your peace. Healing also requires time and patience, two things that are impossible to nurture in a toxic mental environment. When your mind is constantly occupied with worry, anger, or fear, you don't have the mental bandwidth to heal. You are too distracted by the noise. True healing happens when you make space for quiet, for stillness, for thoughtfulness. It happens when you stop rushing the process and start accepting that healing takes time. And the only way you'll ever give yourself that time is by protecting your mind from the chaos around you. You can't heal if you are always fighting against yourself. If your inner dialogue is full of self-criticism, self-doubt, and guilt, there's no room for the healing process to unfold. The road to healing isn't about pushing harder. It's about softening. It's about quieting the inner critic long enough to let self-compassion take root. If your mind is constantly attacking itself, you'll stay stuck in a loop of pain. Healing starts when you choose to be gentle with yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. The truth is, your mind is the foundation of your healing. The work you do in your mental space directly impacts how you heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If you want to recover from what's holding you back, you have got to start by purging the toxins in your mind. No amount of positive thinking or spiritual effort will matter if you don't first create an environment where healing can happen. If you are still holding on to anger, shame, or regret, your mind will never find the peace it needs to move forward. You have got to clear out the debris and allow space for something better to take root. Too many people base their self-worth on the opinions of others. They're so busy worrying about what people think, they lose track of who they are and what they stand for. You might look around and see everyone else's opinions, judgments, and expectations. You might feel like their words hold more weight than your thoughts. But let me tell you this, no one, absolutely no one can define you unless you let them. What they think is irrelevant when you know who you are. What you think about yourself is the foundation of your entire reality. When you depend on external validation, you are setting yourself up for a lifetime of insecurity. People will always have something to say. Some will praise you, some will criticize you, some will love you, some will hate you. But none of that defines you unless you give it permission to. If you're constantly seeking approval or trying to please everyone, you'll never find peace. The world can change its mind about you in an instant, but if you are anchored in your sense of self-worth, nothing can move you off your center. The moment you start giving more value to your thoughts and opinions is the moment you step into true power. You can't keep living your life by someone else's standards. You can't keep adjusting who you are to fit into other people's boxes. That's not living, that's surviving. When you decide that what you think about yourself is the only opinion that matters, that's when you start living with intention, clarity, and purpose. You create your narrative, and nobody gets to write it but you. It doesn't matter what they think. If you feel like you are not good enough because of someone else's opinion, you are allowing that opinion to shape your reality. And it's not even based on truth. It's based on someone else's limited perspective. The truth is, nobody else can see inside your heart, your mind, or your journey. Only you know the battles you have fought, the lessons you have learned, and the strength you have built. So why give someone else's thoughts so much power? You are your own biggest advocate, your own biggest cheerleader, and your own biggest critic. No one can speak life into you the way you can. When you start telling yourself that you are worthy, capable, and deserving of success, that's when you unlock the real magic. People may doubt you, but that doesn't matter. What matters is whether you believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, there's nothing anyone can say that can shake your confidence. Stop worrying about the opinions that don't matter and start valuing the opinion that you have of yourself. If you are constantly thinking, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do this, you are allowing negativity to take root. That negative self-talk becomes your truth if you don't challenge it. But when you choose to say, I'm worthy, I'm capable, and I'm enough, you start rewriting the story of your life. And when you start owning that narrative, everything else falls into place. When you truly understand this principle, you'll stop looking for external validation. You'll stop needing people's approval to feel good about yourself. You'll realize that you have always had everything you need to succeed within you. What they think doesn't matter because you are already aligned with the truth of who you are. Your worth is not up for debate. And once you realize that no one can take your power, your confidence, or your peace. Too many people mistake mental exhaustion for weakness. They feel tired, overwhelmed, or burnt out and start questioning their strength, their abilities, and their worth. But let me tell you something. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are no less than anyone else. What's happening is that your mind is drained. You have been pushing yourself, dealing with challenges, absorbing negativity, and juggling too much for too long without giving yourself the space to recharge. Mental exhaustion doesn't mean you lack strength. It means you haven't been giving your mind the rest it needs to stay sharp. When you are mentally drained, it feels like everything is harder. Your energy levels drop, your focus wanes, and even the simplest tasks feel like monumental challenges. But that's not because you are weak, that's because you are running on empty. Your mind is like any other part of your body. It needs rest, renewal, and proper care. If you don't give your brain the time to recover, it will wear down and that will affect everything you do. Just like you wouldn't run a car without gas. You can't keep functioning at your best without refueling your mind. Being mentally drained doesn't mean you don't care. It means you have been giving too much of yourself to everyone and everything else. You have been pouring out your energy into tasks, relationships, responsibilities, and worries without refilling the tank. When you do this over time, it's no wonder you feel like you are losing steam. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you have been operating without taking care of your mental health. Just because you are tired doesn't mean you are weak. It means it's time for a reset. The mistake many people make is thinking that mental exhaustion is a permanent state. They think that because they feel drained today, they'll always feel that way. But that's simply not true. Mental fatigue is a temporary condition. Just like physical fatigue is something that can be addressed with the right care. You need rest, boundaries, and breaks. You need to learn to say no, to step back, and to prioritize your peace. When you begin to give yourself the space to recover, you'll find your energy and strength returning. The key is understanding that mental exhaustion is a signal to slow down, not a reflection of your character. If you are constantly pushing yourself, overloading your brain with stress and tasks, you are bound to break down. Your mind wasn't designed to carry constant pressure without relief. You have got to give it time to breathe, to reset, and to recover. Just like you wouldn't try to run a marathon without preparing your body, you can't expect your mind to perform at its best without proper mental care. Rest isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. When you start prioritizing your mental health, you'll notice how quickly your clarity and energy return. Another reason why you are feeling mentally drained could be that you are carrying emotional baggage that you haven't addressed. If you're holding on to past hurts, grudges, or unresolved issues, it's draining you without you even realizing it. Emotional weight is one of the heaviest burdens you can carry, and it impacts your mental energy more than anything else. It's time to release those emotional chains and allow yourself to heal. Okay? The more you hold on to pain, the more drained and powerless you'll feel. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength in its most powerful form. You are not weak. You are simply not giving yourself the care and space your mind needs to function at its best. If you take the time to recharge, to nurture your thoughts, and to create a healthy mental environment, you'll be able to accomplish anything. Don't confuse exhaustion with inability. The only thing standing in your way right now is a lack of balance. Once you permit yourself to rest, to clear your mind, and to restore your mental energy, you'll come back stronger than ever. Your power isn't gone, it's just been temporarily hidden under the weight of mental exhaustion. But the moment you choose to take control of your mind, you'll see how strong you are. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it wasn't designed to handle constant chaos. The human brain wasn't built for a non-stop stream of distractions, stress, and noise. It was made to focus, to process information methodically, and to find clarity during challenges. When your mind is constantly bombarded with chaos, whether it's clutter, confusion, or emotional turmoil, it struggles to function at its best. You weren't meant to live in a state of mental chaos. Your mind craves order, and it's in that order that your true power comes alive. Chaos disrupts your ability to think clearly and act decisively. When your mind is overwhelmed with 1,000 different thoughts, worries, and responsibilities, it becomes nearly impossible to focus on the task at hand. Your attention is scattered, your decisions become rushed, and your energy is drained by trying to keep up with the noise. To thrive, you have to create an environment of mental order. This means decluttering your thoughts, prioritizing what truly matters, and simplifying your daily routines so your mind can operate efficiently and effectively. When your mind is filled with chaos, it loses its ability to make sound judgments. You find yourself second-guessing your decisions, questioning your abilities, and feeling uncertain about your path. This is because chaos clouds your mental clarity. Without order, your mind can't sift through the noise and discern what is truly important. But when you create mental structure, you give your brain the space it needs to focus on what matters most. You can clear away distractions, eliminate the unnecessary, and give your mind the freedom to make choices based on purpose rather than panic. Ordering your mind is not just about quieting the external distractions. It's about controlling the internal noise too. We all have that inner voice that tells us we're not good enough, that we're going to fail, or that we're not on the right path. That voice gets louder in chaos. But when you create order in your mind, you can quiet that voice and replace it with thoughts of confidence, clarity, and focus. You can turn down the volume of fear and self-doubt, allowing your true potential to emerge. Mental order isn't just about external organization. It's about mastering your inner dialogue. A chaotic mind can lead to mental fatigue, stress, and burnout. When your thoughts are scattered and constantly racing, your brain consumes an enormous amount of energy trying to process them all. This exhaustion can leave you feeling overwhelmed, unmotivated, and uninspired. But when you prioritize mental order, you conserve your energy for the things that matter most. You stop wasting mental bandwidth on distractions and unnecessary worries. And you begin to channel your energy into positive, productive thoughts that propel you forward. Living in mental chaos also makes it harder to see the bigger picture. You get caught up in the day-to-day hustle, the pressure of immediate tasks, and the constant barrage of information. But when you create mental order, you start to see things from a higher perspective. You can step back, evaluate your goals, and prioritize your actions. You stop reacting to life's challenges and start responding with intention and purpose. This shift in perspective allows you to make decisions that are aligned with your long-term vision rather than just surviving the chaos of the moment. To live in alignment with your true potential, you need to cultivate a mindset that supports order, clarity, and focus. The more you create mental space, the more your brain will function at its highest level. You will find yourself making better decisions, staying calm in stressful situations, and living with purpose instead of constantly battling mental chaos. Your mind wasn't meant to live in turmoil. It was meant to thrive in clarity. And when you give your mind the order it craves, it will open up endless possibilities for you to achieve success, peace, and fulfillment. Mental strength isn't something you just build by working out or pushing yourself through challenges. It doesn't come from just sheer willpower or determination. True mental strength comes from a deeper place. A spiritual connection that grounds you, that keeps you centered even when life tries to knock you down. The power of your mind isn't solely a result of your thoughts or emotions. It's the product of a deep, unwavering connection to something bigger than yourself. Whether you find that in God, the universe, or your own beliefs, it's your spiritual foundation that gives you the true resilience to face any obstacle. When you cultivate a spiritual connection, you tap into a power source that transcends human limitations. Your mind can only do so much on its own, but when you connect with your higher power, something shifts. You begin to access a strength that isn't bound by fear or doubt. When you feel weak, when you feel like giving up, it's your spiritual connection that reminds you of who you are and what you are capable of. That connection brings peace, clarity, and guidance when your mind is filled with chaos and uncertainty. It provides a mental anchor that keeps you grounded in times of emotional turbulence. Spirituality gives you the mental tools to navigate life's challenges. It teaches you patience, faith, and perseverance. In the face of adversity, when your mind is telling you to quit, your spiritual connection steps in and says, keep going. That's where true mental strength lies, not in the absence of struggle, but in the presence of your unshakable belief in something greater. When you can draw from that well of spiritual strength, you become unstoppable. You learn to face challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to grow and evolve. The mind is powerful, but it's vulnerable. It can easily get bogged down by doubt, fear, and negative thinking. That's where the spirit comes in. Your spirit doesn't waver. Your spirit doesn't crumble when things get tough. Your spirit is the part of you that connects you to the divine, to the universe, to the truth of who you are. When you nurture that connection, you give yourself access to an infinite supply of strength. So the mental battles you face can be won with the power of the spirit, because the spirit doesn't know defeat. It knows only resilience and persistence. True mental strength is not just about how tough you can be mentally. It's about how connected you are to your source of power. When you cultivate that spiritual connection, it becomes the bedrock of your resilience. It gives you the courage to take risks, the strength to face rejection, and the peace to remain calm in a storm. Your mind might try to convince you that you are not good enough or that you can't handle what's ahead, but your spiritual connection will remind you that you were designed for this moment, for this challenge, and this journey. With that reminder, mental strength becomes effortless because you no longer rely on your limited abilities, but on an infinite source of power. When you make the spiritual connection a priority in your life, it becomes your mental fortitude in every situation. You don't just rely on your mind to figure things out. You trust that your spirit will guide you through, giving you the clarity you need to make decisions that align with your higher purpose. That connection isn't just for times of struggle either. It's also the source of your peace, your confidence, and your direction. A spiritually connected mind is a strong mind, one that can weather any storm with grace and resilience. The more you strengthen your connection to your spirit, the more mental fortitude you'll develop. You'll stop seeing obstacles as setbacks and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. You'll stop fearing the unknown and start trusting the process. Your spirit connected to your mind becomes the most powerful ally you have. Mental strength doesn't come from fighting against the world. It comes from aligning yourself with the universe, trusting your higher purpose, and drawing on the strength that's always been within you. The connection to something greater than yourself is the wellspring of your true power. Every thought you have is like a seed being planted in the soil of your mind. Just like a seed has the potential to grow into something big, powerful, and impactful, so do your thoughts. What you think day in and day out shapes your future. It's not just about the actions you take, but about the internal dialogue that's constantly running in your mind. Each thought you allow to take root has the potential to influence your life. So the question is, are you planting seeds of success, positivity, and growth, or are you letting weeds of fear, doubt, and negativity take over? Think about it. Your mind is constantly planting seeds. Every thought you have, whether it's positive or negative, is being planted. If you think you're capable of greatness, you are planting seeds of confidence, courage, and resilience. If you think you are doomed to fail, you are planting seeds of self-doubt, fear, and insecurity. Your thoughts are like invisible seeds that influence everything around you. The more you think about something, the stronger those seeds grow, and they begin to influence your actions and your behavior. Eventually, those seeds sprout into results. The mind is a powerful garden, and you are the gardener of your own life. When you understand that every thought you have is planting a seed, you start to approach your thoughts with much more intentionality. You realize that you can't just let your mind run wild. You have to be strategic about what you allow to grow. You wouldn't just throw seeds out into the soil without considering what you want to grow, would you? You wouldn't plant weed and expect beautiful flowers or fruitful trees to bloom. Yet many of us allow negative, limiting thoughts to grow in our minds and wonder why we struggle with doubt and failure. The key to planting with purpose is choosing your thoughts carefully. It all starts with awareness. You need to be conscious of the thoughts you are allowing to take root in your mind. When you notice negative or unproductive thoughts popping up, you have to address them immediately. Acknowledge them, but don't let them linger. Replace them with positive, empowering thoughts. Just like a gardener removes weeds from their garden before they have a chance to take over, you need to remove the toxic thoughts before they can grow and affect your reality. Your mental garden should be one of growth, opportunity, and strength, not of stagnation or decay. What you plant today will shape your tomorrow. If you want to grow a future of success, happiness, and fulfillment, you need to start planting the right seeds now. It's not enough to think positively once in a while. It needs to be a daily practice. Every day, make the conscious choice to plant seeds that align with the life you want to create. Thoughts of gratitude, of possibility, abundance, these are the seeds you need to be sowing. The more consistently you plant these seeds, the more they will grow and bloom into the life you envision. But planting seeds with purpose isn't just about being positive, it's about being purposeful in every aspect of your life. Your thoughts influence everything, from the relationships you build to the opportunities you pursue. When you are intentional about your thinking, you begin to see results in every area of your life. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, and the right situations because the seeds you have been planting are aligned with your goals. Every action, every decision, and every interaction is a reflection of the thoughts you have nurtured in your mind. Your mind is a garden, and you are the gardener. The seeds you plant today will determine the fruits of tomorrow. If you want to harvest success, joy, and peace, you must plant seeds of positivity, purpose, and power. Don't let negativity take root in your mind. Be intentional about what you think because your thoughts will shape your reality. It all starts with planting the right seeds consistently and purposefully until they grow into the life you have always dreamed of. If you can master your mind, you can master your life. The mind is the most powerful tool you have. It controls everything you do, every decision you make, and every action you take. Your mind is the key to unlocking everything you desire in life. When you control your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, and your perspective, you are in command of your destiny. The world around you doesn't have the power to shape your reality unless you allow it. Once you master the mind, the world follows your lead, and you become unstoppable in your pursuit of greatness. It is not the external world that limits you. It's the way you perceive and react to it. Life will always present challenges, obstacles, and setbacks, but your mind is what determines how you face them. When your mind is strong, focused, and disciplined, the challenges of the world become growth opportunities. You stop seeing obstacles as barriers and start seeing them as stepping stones to success. The world may try to hold you back, but when you have control over your mind, you will find a way to push through, adapt, and rise above. Master your mind, and the external world will bend to your will. When you have a clear, disciplined mind, you make better decisions. The clarity of thought allows you to see things as they truly are, not clouded by fear, doubt, or negative emotion. You begin to make decisions based on logic, wisdom, and long-term goals, not on short-term emotions or impulses. Your mental discipline sharpens your ability to focus on what truly matters, and you start aligning your actions with your highest purpose. The world doesn't decide for you. Your thoughts and decisions, shaped by a mastered mind, dictate the direction of your life. It's all about harnessing the power of your mind to navigate through life with precision and purpose. The mind is like a compass. It shows you where to go, but it only works if it's properly calibrated. If your mind is scattered, filled with doubt and negativity, you'll constantly find yourself lost, drifting without direction. But when you take the time to master your thoughts, you establish a strong, clear direction for your life. You know where you are going, and you are equipped to handle whatever comes your way. The world follows because your thoughts are focused and your energy is aligned with your goals. With a powerful mind, you become a force that the world can't ignore. Mental mastery doesn't happen overnight. It requires constant practice, self-awareness, and effort. You have to actively train your mind to stay positive, focused, and resilient. You must guard against negative thoughts, self-doubt, and fear, replacing them with empowering beliefs, actions, and affirmations. The more you practice mental discipline, the easier it becomes to stay in control. As you train your mind to think with purpose, the world around you will start reflecting that control. Your external circumstances will begin to shift as your internal world becomes stronger and more determined. The mind is a battlefield, and every day you must fight to keep it in check. Every negative thought, every moment of weakness, and every doubt is a battle that you must win. It's not about avoiding the struggle, it's about mastering it. When you understand that your mind is the key to everything, you approach life differently. You no longer let the world dictate your state of mind. Instead, you control your thoughts, and in doing so, you control your life. The more you fight to master your mind, the more the world will respond to you in ways you never imagined. Once you have mastered the mind, the world will follow your lead. You will create the life you desire because your mind is in perfect alignment with your purpose. You'll make decisions with confidence, handle challenges with grace, and rise above adversity with unshakable strength. The world doesn't have power over you. It reflects the power that you have cultivated within your mind. Master your mind, and everything you have ever wanted will fall into place. Your mind is the key to unlocking the greatness that's already within you. When you master it, the world has no choice but to follow.